Alright, I ain't never seen his guy's channel before though. I was recommended this video. Let's go check it out. Hopefully it's not too scary though. Console conspiracies. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. Damn, loud as hell. Alright, we gonna find out. Ew.
Keeper of the secret.
To find the Grail, you must look to the stars.
No, these games would have scared me crazy as a child. I'm so serious.
Drowned God. A 1996 point-and-click video game created by a man named Richard Horn, also known as Harry Horse.
Okay.
Stemming from the idea that the scientific origins of humanity are a lie, the game plays like an eerie looking glass into a disturbed mind. The game is, for all intents and purposes, a product of its time, and it was received mostly well.
Okay.
Containing an esoteric mishmash of historical beliefs, the game effectively bombards you with questions about your origins, connecting them to prominent conspiracy theories and secret societies, like the Illuminati.
Illuminati is
the
really
result
just an
is nothing short of
old
perplexing.
like term, bro. This shit been around for ages.
But something tells me that this was done on purpose.
Low-key.
At the outset of Drowned God, you're greeted with a mysterious chamber and a strange voice explaining your place in its world. Allegedly, the reality that you're experiencing is a gift, and who it's from is presently one of the game's many mysteries. The voice explains that you've returned here from a previous life, and your current task, while obscure, is to unearth the secret that will enlighten you with answers about life itself.
Okay.
Trust too deeply, the voice warns, and you'll know the wickedness in men's hearts. As above, so below. As above, so below. This is the secret of the Drowned God.
Let's see this video. For its full purposes. Contains a sewer slide, violence, maybe disturbing. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Make sure y'all watch it at home. If this is containing to you, I'm sorry, but watch a different one of my videos. That does. Alright, bro. I think I read it.
Something about 1990s PC games have this charm about them, and it's eerily pleasant.
Pleasant? I don't know. Shit, eerily
the atmosphere
scary.
of Drowned God sucks you in, enveloping you within its bemusing lore from the outset. The gameplay is rudimentary, at least compared to modern standards, but back then that was mostly expected. The point-and-click game was nothing new, and Drowned God was, of course, one of many like it.
Yeah.
Sanitarium, garage, mist, putt-putt, they were everywhere.
What the heck?
What made Sanitarium, garage, mist, putt-putt, they were everywhere.
I thought that was all from the same
What made
game.
it special, though, was the fact that it was so outlandish. It had layers, genuine lore, and a wild mishmash of conspiracies, all baked into an eerie little 2-hour package. To enjoy Drowned God meant that you had to believe in it.
These games was really short, bro. It'd be like short games. You would really take a lot of money just to develop something long like that. It's crazy how shit came by. Like shit like developed so fast.
Engross yourself in it, and suspend whatever counter-belief that was baked within your conscience.
Holy shit.
After the introductory monologue, you're left in a chamber called the Bequest Globe. Before you is a terminal, and after entering your name, it assigns you a number, a code name, and then presents you with a synopsis of your past lives. After observing this, a door opens up leading to two otherworldly beings named Keither and Malakut that explain that you need to collect 4 ancient relics for the secret of the drowned god.
Why say 8 then?
Obtaining these involves utilizing a time machine mechanic known as the crypto wheel that teleports you to the regions in which they're kept.
Okay.
The first world is one named Bina, containing aspects of Arthurian legend and including references to Stonehenge. It takes you through a deserted wasteland before eventually dropping you off at a museum that I can only describe as uncanny. Like the Museum of Anything Goes.
What does that mean, bro?
But that's a story for another time.
Stop playing with me, bro. Stop playing with me.
The second, Chesed, showcases a submarine interior and Aztec ruins, all wrapped up within an eerily liminal desert. Something I particularly enjoyed here were the numerous references to the Philadelphia experiment, a time-traveling invisible military ship conspiracy theory that's admittedly pretty damn creepy. An obvious
Should I
hoax,
read
but
this?
that's
The device based on the principles devised by the Globes originally where closing the device within the render shapes remains invisible both naked eye and bright eye. The device bends. The source deflects light phase, regenerating electromagnetic field, incorporates many elements originally outlined in areas of gravitation. Who also wrote the initial feasibility report for the ONI, which kick-started the Philadelphia agreement took place in 1943 aboard the USS Eldridge, U.S. Navy destroyer. A lack of stability due to efficient power generators caused most of the crew to vanish into thin air. Some spontaneously burst into flames. Some experienced the frozen death. Some went completely insane. One surviving crewman still blinks in and out of our reality, caught in a time loop, living and reliving the experiment. Oh, that's tragic.
admittedly pretty damn creepy.
Philadelphia was given an MJ classification as some of the project's radical propulsion and navigation were similar to contract through not designed to alien technology recovered by Majestic 12 at Roosevelt. Whole lot of shit, man.
An obvious hoax, but still pretty creepy. I'm sure you can see why it fit perfectly in a drowned
I'm
god,
not
though.
trying to read too much, bro. That ass, my head hurts.
The third, named Din, brings you to a carnival, a maze, and an underground subway system. The characters you encounter during this section don plague doctor masks and walk in the most unnatural manner possible.
Dead ass.
The carnival section, however, was a welcome change because it was throwing me Silent Hill 3 vibes. And that sure as hell ain't a bad thing.
Nigga, that's creepy. What?
And the final world, Chalkma, takes you to a structure outside of Area 51. Everything's super quiet, super abandoned, super ominous.
Creepy.
Once the game finally draws to a close, you collect 3 of the 4 artifacts needed to unearth the big secret. You'll find that you're unable to, and are left to choose 3 separate paths leading to 3 different endings. Choosing the first path banishes you to a technological police state with men in black suits surveilling you. The second is much of the same, however you're forced into genetic manipulation against your will.
Oh shit.
And the final path? Well, that's my favorite one, because it welcomes you with a scene of aliens that cheerfully claim,
"We are coming, for we are Legion."
a bit forward, I'll admit, but that's Drowned God for you. Aliens helped create humanity. Because of course they did.
Nah, for real? No way.
Now, Drowned God within itself is undoubtedly creepy and absolutely warrants an entire review video of its own.
Yeah, of course,
It's got-
man. I ain't gonna lie. You making it seem like there's jump scares on that John, bro. That's not for me, twin.
All the cornerstones of a dissectable piece of media with hidden secrets, a convoluted story, disturbing
Hey.
characters, and a creepy atmosphere. While that alone personally piques my interest, what you'd be surprised to know is that discussion about the game itself isn't actually why we're here today.
Okay, what are we here for?
The game's creator, Harry Horse, is a peculiar person, and the backstory of his life behind the veil of Drowned God is nothing short of unsettling. But why?
Well, tell me he's one of them shits, bro.
Reports had come
Oh, 2007. Oh, rest in peace, my boy.
out nearly a decade after the game's release that Harry Horse had passed away in a Romeo and Juliet-esque suicide pact with his wife Amanda Williamson.
Oh,
The couple allegedly overdosed on painkillers and died in each other's arms, with some outlets describing the scene as deeply moving and the final expression of the great love story that was their life together.
I ain't gonna lie.
While this may initially seem grievous, subsequent discoveries would later reveal that the reality of the situation wasn't quite so simple. Like I said, Harry Horse was an enigma, an outlier,
Alright. Thanks
a
for letting me
mind
know,
full of
twin.
complexity, like a mad scientist. For the last decade of his life, everything around him was spiraling further and further into complication and misfortune. His wife was stricken by an aggressive form of multiple sclerosis, and as a result, Harry would regularly express his growing discontent for how his life was falling into place. The division and method of discovery between this alleged love story suicide pact and the media accounts surrounding it are another curious find as well, as the real details of what happened that night weren't released until months later.
Is that a knife?
The story everyone was made to believe, this romantic tragedy, actually was a complete lie.
Is that a knife?
In reality, things were much, much darker.
Like murder.
Let me take it to the beginning.
That's nostalgic, bro.
It's the 9th of May 1960. A boy is born to a Joe and Derek Horn of Warwickshire, England. They name him Richard, and he would be the first of 4 children.
Okay.
For most of his childhood, things are pretty good. The family reportedly lived in an upscale farmhouse without much conflict, and from an early age, Richard was known to have a fondness for art, frequently drawing the animals that he'd see on his daily walks with his family. All around, by those that knew him, he was regarded as a considerably friendly and stand-up child with a winning smile.
Like from Roblox. The winning smile. Sorry.
By his teenage years, Richard would become increasingly aware that his life aspirations were at odds with those of his family. For instance, his parents were delighted when he eventually landed a job as a solicitor's clerk at a law firm. However, this occupation opened his eyes to where his passion truly was. Not in law, but in art. After quitting a short while later, and around the time he turned 18, he'd leave his home for Edinburgh, Scotland, in hopes of sneaking into college art classes. He changed his name from Richard Horn to Harry Horse around this time as well, which his family believes was his method of burying his past life entirely. A rift that we'll soon find noteworthy.
Worthy?
His life entirely. A rift that we'll soon find noteworthy.
I don't know what that means. I need
If
the
you look like a
CC that I
rift that we'll soon find noteworthy.
find noteworthy. Okay.
If you look like a student and you act like a student, then you basically are one. Harry claimed was his philosophy at Edinburgh University. And it seemed to be paid off, as just 5 years later, he'd release his debut children's book to remarkable success. His method of pulling this off, however, involved a significant amount of lying and persuasion. Allegedly, he had contacted the would-be publisher Canongate, posing as an agent and claiming that they should check Harry's work out. Needless to say, he ultimately landed that interview, and the rest is history.
I feel like I've seen his book before, unless there's something else. I swear.
By utilizing this newfound knack for role-playing, Harry would launch a band called Swamp Trash in 1987. It was during this phase of his life that he would meet the woman he'd marry, named Amanda Williamson. She was a self-proclaimed #1 fan, and from the beginning, they reportedly hit it off.
How you got the same dog? Y'all see that? Nah, bro. Hey, man. He fucked the fan.
According to a friend, Harry was besotted with Amanda, and she was a sinner of sublime stillness. Something Harry reputedly needed, since, according to those close to him, he was prone to sudden outbursts of rage. From coworkers to bandmates, what most were unaware of was the fact that Harry would lash out for seemingly no reason, leaving them frequently taken aback by his polarity.
Bipolar.
I hate fucking dealers.
Bipolar.
They're the parasites of the art world. Profit margin obsessed, greedy individuals with no true understanding of art. He once unloaded onto a Scotland art dealer. It was because of this notion that his peers would see him as a nice guy, no doubt. However, he had his demons and was undoubtedly unpredictable.
Ooh. Doesn't sound good. Poor wife.
The game is about an alternative interpretation of the history of mankind.
The whole mystery of Drowned God is based on Atlantis and the position of these star constellations that form the same constellation as the Giza pyramids.
He even talk about Atlantis back in the game review. What you mean Atlantis, bruh? I know the game crazy, but you gotta slow down, that ass.
Ground layout.
It's a puzzle game. Basically, the whole thing is unlocking a gigantic secret. And the game is thought about as a long crescendo from near ignorance into
POV Drowned God
initiation and a new knowledge, which is genuine. You leave the game significantly with more between your ears and your heart, maybe, than you had when you started.
Having taken up an interest in conspiracy theories, Harry utilized his forgery and role-playing skills to craft a false manuscript dated 1846 that outlined an alternative history of the dawn of mankind. He impersonated an 18th century poet named Richard Henry Horne to pull this off, not to be confused with Harry Horse's birth name. According to Harry, Henry Horne took great interest in the legend of the Sons of God, and it was exactly the subject of my forgery. A wild coincidence according to him, but it was one that largely duped everyone, ultimately serving as the basis for the Drowned God storyline.
That's crazy. So he uses his skills of just pretending to be the person, pretending like, oh, I'm actually this guy, and he pulls it off well enough. He does that shit. That's tough as hell. That's like Rio from Blue Lock.
By Halloween night of 1996, the game was released and was generally well received, selling over 34,000 copies in just 2 weeks.
Nice.
Described by some as the strangest, creepiest, most psychedelic adventure game I've yet to come across. It was safe to say that Harry had crafted something special. So special that he had planned a sequel named Cult to eventually tie the Drowned God story together. However, due to events that would soon transpire, that sequel would never see the light of day.
What if somebody actually did that? That'd be crazy.
Contrary to his success in his professional life, Harry's personal life was crumbling. Amanda was officially diagnosed with an aggressive form of multiple sclerosis, leaving her health to rapidly deteriorate. And by the early 2000s, she was confined to a wheelchair.
Damn.
This downward spiral would carry on for the better part of the next decade, and those close to them could observe Harry's mental state mirroring this. After a myriad of smaller moves and life changes,
a large amount
during the next few years, the pair would adopt a cat and a dog named Rue, and in 2004, they'd set up camp one final time near
Yo, how old are they, bro? It was born in 1960. He died when he was around 40 something. She don't even look 40, gang. She don't look 40. Shit like late 20s, early 30s. He looked like he in his like 50s. Nah, the hair makes him like he's in his 40s actually. He looks relative to his age. She doesn't though. She doesn't. I'm so serious. He looks Italian too. I ain't gonna lie.
And his immediate family in Shetland, Scotland. It was there where Harry was out of his element. As time would pass, his workload for caring for Amanda would increase. Yet, at the same time, his mind had a nagging desire to work back in Edinburgh. To Harry, the months began to feel longer. He was becoming increasingly uninspired, and by May of 2006, it was observed by his peers that his demeanor had reached somewhat of a breaking point.
Damn. And this is like before video calls too, so you can call. There's I think what MySpace was up. I barely, maybe like the demo, cause you could even like you would just call them. You have to send mail and hope it comes through. Like I would feel that, bro. I don't know. Okay, but in that scenario though, would you think it would be okay to just leave your wife behind with family? You just visit her? Because if you was really wanting to keep working, and if y'all really loved each other, she would accept that. But at the same time, she's gonna die soon too. But it have to be on some point where it's like, okay, I want to be so where like, okay, I'll let you do your work. I know you really want to. It's your love and passion. But I feel like, yeah, you would have to be there in her final few weeks at least, you know, or at least final few whatever, because she's gonna die soon, you know.
Catalyzed by the sudden passing of their dog Rue,
And they dog
he
died,
became
bro. That's fucked up. Every nigga's dying from his life, bro.
indifferent, incalculable, and it resulted in a multitude of incidents.
Ooh.
According to the Sunday Times, he berated a Shetland art gallery for its pretentious paintings. He punched a hole in a wall at a home during a bout with a social worker who was disputing Amanda's disability benefits. His family's relations were reaching a terminal phase, and he eventually cut contact with each of them.
Ooh.
"I'm in a living hell," Harry once claimed.
Uh-oh.
And this island that was supposed to be their home of tranquility was beginning to feel more and more like a prison cell.
Scotland not doing you well, my brother. You think I might have to go to Scotland, bro? I ain't gonna lie. Nah. I do want to go there though. I want to try their beer and shit. Their brewery or winery. But they got good stuff here though. I don't think I have to go. Alright, let's go.
On the 9th of January 2007, two friends visiting from New Zealand would make a quick stop to check in on the couple. During their stay, Harry purportedly wasn't himself and was firing off claims such as, "It's a wonderful night for a killing."
Whoa.
According to them, Amanda didn't want them to leave after their visit either. However, against their wishes, they left anyway.
Ooh. He's gonna kill her, huh? That's what he's. Amanda doesn't want him to leave, bro. It's fried. He's fried. Oh my god, he's gonna kill that lady. What about the cat? Oh no, it's fucked up. Psh, 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 psh.
9:40 a.m.
Ooh.
January 10th.
Ooh. That's my birth
On
year
their way to
again.
the airport, the two friends returned to the house to retrieve a jacket that they left behind.
On purpose or what?
The front doors open, and they head inside. Instead of being greeted by the couple, however, they encounter something a bit more grotesque.
What the frick? What kind of house build is that, bro?
Their new dog and their cat are stabbed to death.
Oh,
Amanda is seen with over 30 stab wounds and a broken blade stuck within her.
huh?
Harry's discovered with over 47 wounds on his arms and torso and mutilated genitals.
Oh my god, my balls hurt. My balls hurt. Oh. What? What? Nigga. Genitals?
The pair are lying close together on her bed.
How the fuck does that work?
There's blood on the floor, the windows, the walls, and the scene is unlike anything they've ever witnessed. According to the media, it's believed that that evening, Harry snapped after consuming an alleged cocktail of drugs, stabbing his wife over and over until the first knife broke off inside her.
Holy shit.
He grabbed another and continued stabbing her before shifting his attention to their two pets. And after killing them, he would turn the knife on himself, stabbing his own torso and genitals until both Amanda and he bled to death.
What the hell?
The doctor who attended hasn't returned to work, an officer claimed. It's the worst thing he's ever seen.
Nah, dead ass though. What the fuck?
To police, the scene was dark.
Dead ass, bro.
They went on
You know it's oh no.
record to claim that a murder like this hadn't happened in the Shetland Islands in over 15 years prior to the incident.
Damn.
The area was closed off and the investigation began privately. Though,
EX.
on the outside, word of mouth began to spread. Because Scotland's investigators operate close to the chest, withholding details and official accounts, even today, everyone had caught wind that the pair were dead. However, nobody knew exactly why or how. It was because of this notion that the rumors would sprout about the pair potentially overdosing on Amanda's painkillers, since Harry couldn't have murdered his own wife, pets, and then himself. Could he?
Oh no.
And so, during the weeks immediately following the incident, media outlets ran with it, dressing up the murder-suicide as an act of love.
Bro.
There were even plans to bury the two together, since the families believed that it's what they would have wanted. However, they were oblivious to the full story. It wasn't until days later that the families would catch wind of the actual details from the crime scene, and it's a bitter feeling that they still hold to this day. With that being said, because the case was closed so suddenly and the investigation reports are still confidential, the quote-unquote official ruling, the murder by the hand of Richard Horne, has also been the subject of scrutiny. Evidence of this can be found on Wikipedia, through numerous articles, and even various blogs that the Horne family had set up. The root of the issue stems from the fact that in Scotland, a so-called fatal accident inquiry was never released. Having determined that it would be in the public's best interest to not know what officially happened that night, since the deaths didn't happen at the workplace or in police custody, it's left the public largely in the dark.
That's fucked up. But it's also it's like, you know, it's I guess that's good. But at the same time it's like niggas is gonna go on forever saying what this happened, you know?
I've been in contact with a nephew of Harry Horse, and while they're well aware of the initial flowery misinterpretation in the media, they're left with the belief that vital details are missing. According to them, throughout this investigation, they've been excluded, misled, drip-fed information, and to date, everything that's been released has led to closed doors. Allegedly, Amanda's family were the only ones that acquired the full disclosure from that night's events, leaving the sole public source of information to come from them. One of the few official answers that the Horns were able to obtain was Richard's autopsy report, and the results are highly intriguing. As it turns out, the widely reported cocktail of drugs that he ingested the night of the killing actually wasn't so, since the presence of amphetamines, barbiturates, benzos, cannabinoids, cocaine,
Oh my
methadone,
God. Oh my
opiates, and paracetamol had all come back negative.
God. Oh,
And the same goes
shoot.
for his blood alcohol and urine alcohol levels,
So
which
he
were
did this shit non-geeked. He just did that shit off no geek bar.
also at zero. Aside from elevated levels of the antidepressant amitriptyline, he was otherwise entirely sober during this, leading the family to further question how he'd be able to pull off 47 self-inflicted stab wounds on top of self-mutilation.
Oh my God.
Were they murdered? A document they curated claims. To date, a high court judge and forensic psychologist, amongst others, believe so. Someone got away with murder, but can we prove it?
I don't know. You said that. I don't know. Cause we do know he's prone to backlash. How these aggressive. He's a nice guy, but he could get really bad and yell at somebody. But to murder his pets, his wife, and then himself that many times. This like they said he stabbed himself 47 times, and in the balls, too, till he bled to death. I don't think that's possible. I feel like you could stab yourself like maybe once or twice, but after that you might just die of shock. You know, like I don't know. It doesn't seem possible to me. I don't know. And if they did get murdered, who would have murdered them? I don't know, because he didn't give me information on anyone else who would probably kill them. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Cause I could see him, the way he's spiraling down. One night he just got super angry. He just murdered everybody for the rage. But to do that to himself on that level, I don't see that happening. Maybe a third party. I don't know.
Only time will tell. Alright, next boat from the future here. The video's done, and I'm jumping back in here real fast with a quick addendum. If I'm being completely honest with you, this video has been difficult to write.
I'd assume so.
The amount of information, personal takes, details, and running theories are so abundant that formulating a definitive opinion on what happened that night has been laborious. Harry
Giving
was
me
unpredictable.
Big words, bro. Just dumb it down for me. Dumb it down for the nigga, bro. That us.
His peers and family don't deny that. And the painfully frustrating reality is that Amanda did not deserve to die, and especially not the way she did. I think, now in hindsight, the reason why this has been such a difficult topic is due to a myriad of things. The media, the claims by the Williamsons, the counterclaims by the Horns, and the lack of an official police report. I'll admit, there's so much that's been left out of this video because if I went through everything, the runtime would be 2 hours long.
Damn.
With that being said, after you finish this video, I highly encourage you to read further into this bizarre story.
I'm not doing that. I'm more like, yo, it's gotten to a point where I'm looking out my door thinking somebody's in my house to kill me. I'm good, bro. This is why I don't want to. This is why I don't like to watch this stuff, bro. No matter what it is FNAF, whatever. Once I really get into it, now I'm thinking I'm gonna die next, bro. Now I'm thinking someone's next to my door ready to kill me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's my last time. Next time is when I'm with like a friend or a girlfriend. I'm so serious. And they come from me saying, "Oh, that's not real," cause there's no one telling me no. It's fucking me up. I'm so serious.
It's got peculiarity after peculiarity. For instance, did you know that Amanda's father did not officially declare that Harry murdered his wife until over a year later? For that entire length of time, everything, every claim, theory, retelling, was based on hearsay. Now, while this notion's suspect, and just firing off the top here, let's say that Harry did not commit this murder. A counterpoint to this would be that claim by the authorities, that A murder like this hadn't happened in the Shetland Islands in over 15 years. But the media got Harry's sobriety wrong, and he reportedly downed a cocktail of drugs to numb himself before committing this crime, right? Well, no. The toxicology report countered that. So once again, if we're assuming that Harry did not do this, then who would?
I think I'm gonna stop the video here. I'm already scared. I'm done with this. I'm so serious. I'm gonna put the video in the description. Y'all watch it if y'all want to. I'm actually done. Like, I'm generally getting like, I get creeped out like that. Now I'm thinking there's a nigga waiting for me as soon as I open it. Like, I'm good, bro. I'm so good, bro. Like and subscribe. I'm live on Twitch. Y'all already know what to do. Like, what? It's just close your end credits. Like, I'm good. Y'all have fun.